Episode 3, we are going full Hollywood. You may know him as Pete on The Bear, seen him on the new Netflix hit Free Burt. He's the face of progressive commercials, huge Bears fan, St. Charles, Illinois royalty. Chris Witaske is this week's guest on The Out Route.
Welcome to The Out Route with your host, Lauren Screeden.
How long ago was Chicago Party Ant? That was when we first met.
Yeah, it was.
And what is Diane Dombrowski doing right now?
She's probably still wallowing in her sadness after that Bears loss. And she's probably sitting at a dive bar in Beverly, drinking old style.
Yeah, so, okay, the game, I mean, obviously that was, it wasn't the outcome we wanted for the season, but how fun.
So fun. The place, I really think it was, my first Bears playoff game, like live, that I had been to. I was 3 years old in 1986, so I didn't go to any of those games. And then I remember I was watching, 2008 when we went to the Super Bowl? I was watching that from a bar in Wrigleyville. That, man, Soldier Field was electric. The place was hopping.
It's never been that type of feeling. I mean, the energy around the team is different this year, and that just that translates.
Dude, I have a lot of questions for you, actually, because I think you have the coolest job in the world. And you get to be there and feel all that and experience it and see these fans week after week. And it must be cool, right?
Yeah, growing up a Bears fan and being able to be affiliated with the team that I grew up watching and cheering for is really special. It's one of those things, because I've been doing it a while, right? And you know how it started off. It was Spice and I co-hosted Inside the Bears, and that was back when it was like standard TV on Fox Chicago and all that. But it's changed over the years, where now it's more like social media, digital stuff. And I think really this year I finally got back to appreciating being able to truly be in the moment and stand on the sidelines. And it was fun that they were winning while I was actually remembering to live in the moment as well.
And is that just because the energy changed, or what sucks about your job? What's a pain in the ass about your job?
I love that you're interviewing me. It's good strategy. I mean, this schedule, obviously, football season, it's a grind. So you have to love it, which I do. Yeah. I love it. I think the thing that sucks is probably, and what you deal with too, is this whole world of social media that we're living in, and just being in the public eye. I think that there's a lot of pressure that we put on ourselves, because if you like to go through life saying, oh, well, it doesn't matter what people think of me, and I don't need outside validation. But the truth is, you need outside validation to continue to get hired and to make money and to grow your career. Other people have to like you. And that's a really tough thing. They have to like how you look, like how you sound. And that quite literally in this profession determines, like yours, whether or not you get hired. And that can be tough. I don't know. And I don't know how you've been able to handle it, but it's been ups and downs for me, for sure.
Are you saying, get specific with me here? Are you saying trolls on the internet, saying stupid stuff?
Totally. Trolls, right. Negativity, everybody thinking that, yeah, your life is perfect from the outside. And it's that's not it at all.
Right. But you also have to understand, people see you standing on the sidelines at Bears games, and they're like me. I look at them this looks like the dream job. This is awesome. Right? And so of course people are going to see that and think oh, this chick's got it made in the shade and she's living the dream.
But there's so much that goes on behind the scenes, and that's what's tough. It's when you're having an off day, when shit's going on in real life and you want to cry, guess what? There's 65,000 people that don't want to see you cry, and you better get your shit together.
No, I think in this profession, we kind of have to, we develop that because I think it is kind of a requirement of this kind of a job.
Yeah, when you have other
Right.
stuff going on and you have to go on set, it's like you better leave that at the door, I would think, right?
So, but what's your favorite part of the job?
Getting to meet the people, getting to see like the facts again, like growing up a Bears fan, the fact that I see Brian Urlacher and he'll come over and give me a hug and hey Lord, what's up? I'm like, what? And it's changed over the years too, where it is now more of these fun type of games on the sidelines, which is a reason I started this podcast too, because I still like interviewing people and I like hearing people's stories. And my role specifically with the Bears has changed into more of like the fun entertainment-y side of things, which is great. And I love that part too. But I have missed, when you asked me how it has changed, I've missed doing, kind of the real stories and getting to know people.
When people ask you what your job title is now, what do you say?
Team reporter, content creator for the Bears.
But then wouldn't you also say like on the field host or whatever?
Yeah. And then when people ask me,
Yeah,
oh, what does
stadium
that
host.
mean?
Yeah.
I say, when you go up to get beer, that's when they send it to me on the field. When you're like, oh, let's go get nachos, I'm doing carnival games on the sidelines. That's what's happening.
But no, I gotta say, at the game last week or 2 weeks ago, I was watching all your stuff and it was great. It's fun. It keeps the energy up.
It's fun, and you get to interact with fans down there and people who have said, I've never gotten to see, the game from this viewpoint before. So that's cool. And actually some of the players too, they've said like, yeah, of course they're locked into the game. But if there's a break and then they're seeing, how many rodeo items Colston Loveland can name, they're like, okay.
Well, then also, Lauren, you have to think about the little kid who's at his first Bears game, maybe is getting a little bored of the game by the third quarter, and then you inject some energy and, it's fun for them. What are you doing when the game's happening? Where are you hanging out?
I stand on the sidelines. And we've had some cold games this year.
And you're just watching the game then?
It's funny, the
Yeah.
cold games. It's like the bench is here and the heaters are pointed towards the bench, and I stand at like the base of the heater, like, on the other side.
The heat's not blowing. You're standing in the air that's getting sucked into the heater Well, but I got to tell you, don't take it for granted because I had this game when I was there. It was my first time down on the field. And I had been down on the field out here in LA and stuff, but it was my first time down on the field for a Bears game at Soldier Field, and it was like, I mean, I was truly like a little kid. Like, this is so cool.
I was so excited to see you. I didn't even realize till they posted the picture on Instagram that like the rest of the cast was there too.
Yeah, some of us. Some of us. Jeremy didn't. I talked to Jeremy Allen White afterwards, and he was invited but didn't want to get sick. He's smarter than the rest of us. Just the energy. I mean, especially before that game, the energy was just like, oh, baby, this is like the snow's coming down. It's like perfect bear weather, and Bear Man is there in his little outfit, and people are just
So
like,
Chicago. Okay, so tell me, how did that all come about where you ended up on the Bear?
I was on a Netflix show called Love that Judd Apatow produced, and on that show was an actress named Gillian Jacobs, who is dating a guy named Chris Storer, who I met through her, and he's a Chicago dude, so we became buds. And then years later, when he was, casting his new show, I auditioned. I actually auditioned originally for Richie, the cousin, but I wasn't kind of, like tough, like blue collar enough for that. And so then I auditioned to play the brother-in-law Pete, who is more my kind of like happy-go-lucky, lovable golden retriever kind of guy. When we first shot the first season, I was like, oh, this is cool. Like this show, the scripts are good and it shoots in Chicago. So, I get to go back and see friends. But I had no idea it was going to turn into this like huge, global hit that it has.
What's the whole audition process like for those of us who have yet to make our Hollywood break?
Yes. It's never too late. Yeah, you get my agent, sends me the audition, and it comes with, a couple scenes from the show, and so you got to kind of like memorize them and work on them. In the old days, you would go drive all over LA to go to these auditions in person, but since COVID, now they've all been online. So you like literally will just like tape them in your living room by yourself and then send them in, which then begs the question, do I need to be living in Los Angeles anymore? Where are you? Are we allowed to disclose your location? You're in Wyoming? Why Wyoming? What brought you out there?
Well, we bought this place we bought in November. And because of the schedule, I don't think I've spent a full month here. I've been on like week-long increments here. So like we're still trying to get the house set up and all that.
So it's pretty fresh. And are you split? You're doing half the year in Wyoming, half the year in Chicago?
We moved. We're here. It's crazy. I'm here till Friday, and then I'm going to the Super Bowl with FanDuel, and then I'm in Montana after that, and then so it hasn't totally sunk in, but it's nice to have a home again. We sold our house in Illinois like 2 years ago, and have had an apartment there, and then spent time at our house out in Montana, and so we finally have all our shit in one place, and it's life changing.
So here's my dream. I've been in LA now for I think like 12 years. My dream is to spend our summers in Chicago and split our time that way.
It's a really good plan. Yeah. You and your wife now, congratulations. She is from the Midwest or no?
No, she's from Pasadena.
I just went there for the first time. My Hoosiers were in the Rose Bowl.
I'll tell you a funny story really quick. I played in a charity golf outing, and in the swag bag, it came with you're allowed to have your own brick outside the Rose Bowl, and it was like a gift that came with this gift bag, and so you could pick whatever you want to put on the brick. And so I put Chris Witaske, Mr. Rose Bowl. And now that brick is prominently displayed outside of the Rose Bowl.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, Mr. Rose Bowl. I've been to the Rose Bowl probably 3 times.
But you're permanently ingrained there. Mr. Rose Bowl. I love it. Wait, that's amazing.
But so anyway, she's from California, born and raised. So the Chicago winters are rough for her.
How did you guys meet?
Hinge. I think it just literally casts a wider net of people to meet that you wouldn't meet otherwise. These apps, because in the old days you would have to meet, at church or something, or mutual friends, or
It's like if you're at a bar, you're somewhere, and like a guy comes up to you, it's like, whoa, what a weirdo. Like, you guys can't win these days. You just can't. It's tough. But it's fine. You locked it down.
I feel very lucky that I found a good babe and locked it down. Yes, because it does seem rough out there. Well, how'd you meet your outdoorsman?
Kevin, he is a St. Charles North Star. We met in high school, and we were friends for a long time. The rest is history.
Wow. And now you're living in Wyoming.
Okay, wait, I want to go back to the bear really quickly, though, because I'm so curious. When you get a role, and it doesn't even have to be in the bear, but when you get a role, how much of it do you get to make your own versus this is what we envisioned as the director or producer, whoever it is?
I've been lucky in that a lot of the projects that I've been on, I've got to make my own. But I think the reason for that, for me specifically, is that because I have an improv background and I came from Second City and the Chicago improv world, I'm really good at improvising. But some are really strict, like stick to my vision and the script and don't, change anything. And other directors are like, have fun with it and make it your own.
If you know the director, somebody's creative style, does that have an effect on your decision to be part of it?
No, because I just want to be working. So I'm like, I'll be involved in anything as long as people aren't assholes,
Sure.
which there are some. But no, I'm just happy to be working, and so I'll take whatever role comes my way.
Do you still do like the standard improv Second City type stuff?
No, I don't, and I miss it. I think the most fun I've ever had in show business was working at Second City, where it was like doing shows every night of the week for sold out audiences, in Chicago. And then you go out, after the show and hang out with the cast. And it was so great.
Was getting Second City, was that sort of the I made it moment?
It was definitely my dream coming true moment because that's what I wanted to do. My dad took me to see a show when I was like 13, and I was like, this is what I want to do with my life. And so, yeah, so when I got hired there, it was like my dream came true. And it kind of felt like I had made it, but then you come out to LA and you realize, oh, I haven't made anything. Like, you're starting over. Have you ever done performing? I feel like you have.
I was in the middle school play, if that counts.
Yeah, that counts.
Listen, when I made my debut, it was very exciting. I'll tell you a story. I was really excited because I was the only sixth grader who made the middle school play, right? I was the bartender. Her name was Bertha.
Do you remember what the play was?
It was called My Gun is Pink, but they couldn't say gun, so they called it My Trench Coat is Pink. And it was like this female detective, like whatever. But I was Bertha, the bartender. But at the end of the scene, I get stabbed and die. The bar was perpendicular to the audience. So that when I died, there was a magnet in the
Okay.
back of my shirt. And so, like, when I got stabbed, they would take the handle. There was a magnet on the handle of this fake knife as well. And so then, the person who kills me would put the knife and so it would stay with the magnet. So they said to me, opening night, they're like, now just make sure when you die that you really get up, kind of like get up and then lay on the bar so that the audience could see the knife sticking
Yes.
out of the side. Yeah, I nailed the performance. And when they stabbed me, I was like, this is it. I went up and over. The whole bar fell over. And of course, there's glasses on the bar to make it real. Glass shattered. So I popped back up because I was so stunned. And then someone was just like, die. And I just laid back down.
This is traumatic. This is traumatic. No wonder you never did it again.
So that was the end of my acting career. The beginning and the end. So have you ever had any nightmare theater?
Oh, yeah. Oh, big time. At Second City one night, I I shouldn't tell this story. I came out on stage and kicked my leg too high and shit my pants.
No way.
And I'm whispering to my co-star, my friend Mike Kaczynski. I'm like, I think I just shit my pants because I came out did this big high kick like a rocket.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh yeah. So yes, and I split my pants a couple times on stage at
Oh my
Second
gosh.
City.
Well, and that's also probably the scenario where you're telling your friend, but it's improv too, right? So it's like, wait, are you serious? Or what's this bit we're doing here? You're doing shows, it's like every night, right?
We had a couple nights off, but it was it's a full schedule, and yeah, sometimes 2 shows a night. It was fun. It was the cool thing about Second City is that it's sold out every night because it's such a Chicago institution. So you don't have to worry about, are people going to come to the show? It's always sold out. And so you just get to have fun in front of a
That's so cool.
big audience every night.
And it was the University of Iowa theater program that prepared you for that?
Yeah, I majored in theater at Iowa, started my own improv group there, and then moved right back to Chicago after school. Lived right behind Murphy's Bleachers in Wrigleyville for 5 years. Worked at Mike Ditka's restaurant. My first job out of college, I applied at Mike Ditka's restaurant, and I had no serving experience, so they hired me as the only male host to work at the host stand. So that was my first job. And then they trained me to be a server. So then I eventually graduated to be a server and then became the maitre d' of the cigar bar, where it was my job to make sure that no one asked Coach Ditka for an autograph while he was eating. Because he was there, Coach Ditka was there every night, basically. Him and his wife, Diana Ditka, who Chicago Party Ant was loosely based on. Coach was great about giving autographs. I used to see, Lauren, grown men, when they saw him, burst into tears. Like they were seeing Jesus Christ. It was insane. Big, fat guys with mustaches, and they see Coach, and they're like, oh my God, it's him. And he was great about signing autographs. In fact, there was a whole gift shop downstairs where you could buy footballs and shit. It was a great business. And he was great about signing autographs as long as he wasn't eating. But if he had a pork chop in front of him and someone asked for an autograph, I saw this man freak out.
What were your interactions with him like when he didn't have a pork chop in front of him?
So great. Really nice. Would always ask me about my career and like, how's it going with your comedy stuff? And his wife was so great. He's funny. He was so funny, like cracking jokes all the time. And do you know John Vincent, the guy who sings Frank Sinatra songs?
Okay, yeah.
You should get to know John Vincent. He was the entertainment at Mike Ditka's restaurant, so he would sing Frank Sinatra songs every night.
Oh, that's so cool. So you were serving there, you were working there while you were doing Second City?
Yes, yeah. It was my job to pay the bills. But got to wait on all the old Bears players who would come in all the time, and it was so cool. I was 3 years old when they won the Super Bowl, the 1986 Chicago Bears, and I have like vague memories of it. But then growing up, my dad really taught me and showed me how great Walter Payton was, and like watching his highlight reels and stuff, it was just like, this guy is so cool. And the way he like interacted with people and fans and was just such a like classy guy. And so he's my number one. But I mean, then I love Devin Hester. I love Devin Hester so much. And watching his highlight reels on YouTube, I'll just like put them on just to watch them. It's insane.
He actually, we had a pretty serious bet for the national championship. I have to send him an Indiana shirt he has to wear.
You've become buddies with him?
Yeah, he's so cool. He's so cool. Did you see the prank on TikTok that's like you ask people, like, do you ever wish you were more athletic? So I was doing this event with Hester back in September. I didn't even know him like that, you know? Like I could do this with like Spice or Peanut or Alex, like, but I haven't met Hester that many times. And so I did. I was like, you ever wish you were more athletic? And he was like, what do you mean by that? And I'm like, I don't know. And then I doubled down. I was like, you ever like wish you were as fast as like Luther Burden? And he was like, the audacity. And when people didn't, again, the trolls, I think people were like, who is this girl disrespecting the greatest of all time? And I was like, it's a joke. It's a joke. So then when I saw him a couple weeks ago and we actually made a video for our public Miami, Indiana bet, I was like, and by the way, I know he's the most athletic person I know and the greatest of all time.
When he ran back the opening kickoff when they were in the Super Bowl, I think I was at John Barleycorn in Wrigleyville, and I remember grabbing bottles of beer out of a bucket and standing on the table and spraying beer all over the bar with all these Chicago idiots. He was so exciting.
Oh, how times change, huh?
Truly. Well, so and so then I will also say I'm all in on Caleb. I love this man so much, and just the way he carries himself, and he's such an incredible athlete, and I really cannot wait for these years we're going to have.
It was so crazy how even when we lost this year, I mean, and I've seen some losses at Soldier Field, the fans were cheering until the last player got off the field, cheering. Like and I even saw somebody on social media was like, I thought there was like a celebrity sighting or something at the end of that game. And it was like, no, fans were just cheering because of the excitement for the future. It's like, hey, we actually, like you said, there's a foundation and now we get to build on it and see where it goes. And that's really exciting.
Dude, Chicago it is truly a football town. Like, let me put it this way. When the Cubs won the World Series and they had the parade, it was like, they said it was one of the biggest gatherings of humans ever. Like it was like 7 million or something, like, you know, if the Bears win the Super Bowl, it will be like double that. I feel like it's such a Bears town. What was it like? Well, hold on. I want to ask who your number one is. And I also want to ask, what was it like at that Packers game when they won?
It was insane. But also when DJ made that game-winning touchdown, I mean, I was like right there. I mean, I was like, is this really happening right now?
What was the energy like? Was it just bananas?
It was almost crazier than the playoff game, just because it all came down to literally that moment and everyone just went nuts.
And you could feel it. You could feel it down on the field.
People were really locked in to that game. Like normally, so Hester was my alumni interview that game. And normally, in the past, when I've interviewed him, it's actually funny because you can't really hear, like, we couldn't even hear each other and what I was asking him because the fans were so loud. So I was expecting that again. But this last time, even though it was a playoff game, it was I mean, of course he got a, standing ovation. It's Devin Hester, all that. But people were really locked in. It actually wasn't as loud as I thought it was going to be consistently throughout the game.
Mm.
Now, when we were on defense, the fans did their job. Like they were really loud, but it was like when we were on offense, they knew to be quiet. Like we are understanding the assignment now.
Wow, dude. Because even at the last game that I was at, they say up on the screen during offense, like, be quiet, be quiet.
Do you get to a lot of sporting events out in LA?
I'll go to Dodgers games every once in a while, and I've been to a couple football games when the Bears are in town. I will never get rid of my Chicago fandom, and I try to at least get to a few Cubs games every summer. And who's your number one?
See, it depends. Cause I mean, I was like, I had a Urlacher jersey growing up. Like but no,
Yeah.
Hester, I mean, Spice, my guy Spice is obviously, yeah.
So wait, let me ask you this. Has everybody, because you have an interesting job where you interact with a lot of people. Has everybody been cool, or have there ever been any weird interactions? And you don't have to name names.
I've been really lucky where I don't really have any nightmare experiences with people. My role with the Bears has always been internal. It's not external media. So when I interview
Mm,
these guys or when I see these guys,
mm.
it's all very trusted because it's like the same people are signing our checks for very different amounts. But we're all like on the same team, literally. It's always been a positive experience with that. What about you? I mean, you meet so many people. Who's the coolest person you've ever met?
This one is probably the same answer for most awkward interaction. Was I was at a golf thing and I met Bill Murray, and he's like my hero, and he hit a ball out of bounds, and so I'm like following him as he walks, and all of a sudden he like dips under the like fence thing, the ribbon fence. And all of a sudden he's like standing right in front of me, and he's like my guy. And I'm like, I was like, Mr. Murray, my name's Chris, and I started at Second City too. And he was like, oh, cool. Have you seen my ball? And I just felt like such a dork because I'm like, oh. In my mind, it was like, oh, we were gonna like have this great conversation, and I'm gonna make him laugh. And no, that did not.
Who do you look up to, like improv wise?
Bill Murray's always been like my guy. A guy who I've become great friends with, which has been cool for me, is Bob Odenkirk, who's a Chicago dude. Better Call Saul and all that. He started on a comedy show called Mr. Show, which was I like worshipped back in the day. It was on HBO, and so that was like one of the things I watched growing up. That was a huge inspiration for me. So now becoming friends with him has been really cool. Mike Ditka, I became friends with Mike Ditka.
Yeah.
That was cool. But no, yeah, out here it's weird because you'll just see people out in the world and it's like no big deal. So let me ask you this. Are you ever nervous, like on the field doing your stuff anymore?
Not anymore, honestly. I've gotten so used to it. The most difficult part is the delay. There's like a 7-second delay. So you hear yourself like 5 to 7 seconds later. It's crazy. But otherwise, I mean, it's not rocket science. You're just talking, you know?
But you're talking in front of fucking 50,000 people or whatever the hell it is. So walk me through. So, okay. So let's say it's, the middle of the second quarter and you know that like a TV timeout is coming up or something, right?
So Dan will just say, okay, in 2 breaks, we're up. Like Duncan races next and then we're up. But enough about me. What's the most challenging part of your job?
Who cares? My job's easy. No, your shit's way more interesting than my shit. My job's easy. I show up, I memorize the lines, I say the lines. The most difficult part is dealing with some method actors who are too cool for school. And I'm just like a Midwestern dude who just wants to do bits and have fun. But that's the hardest part of my job is dealing with people who are very important, self-important. I'm in a new show right now that just came out, Free Burt.
It's top on my Netflix thing.
We're number 2 on Netflix right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it. I'm telling you, it's next on my list. It literally just came out. I I'm gonna have it just looping during the day. Wait, so what? Give me a overview of the show. I've seen it's popular, but
Yes, it's Burt Kreischer, very popular stand-up comedian. He got his own show. He plays himself basically, where he is a really successful stand-up and he moves his family to Beverly Hills and then struggles to kind of like acclimate and like get along with the Beverly Hills. And I played the rival dad at his daughter's school. My character is a full douchebag Beverly Hills plastic surgeon, and my character name is Landon Vanderthal. And it was so fun for me because I usually play these like nice guys, and so it was so fun to get to play just a straight up bad guy, douchebag, rich asshole. And it's really funny. We finished it the other night, and it's so bingeable. You can like plow right through it, 6 episodes. And it's a really cute story.
wait, I was wondering this. When you go to the premiere of a show, because you posted pictures from the premiere,
Yeah.
do you watch all 6 episodes?
Yeah.
At the premiere?
No, this one they showed the first 2 episodes. But that's a weird experience because I'm seeing it for the first time with this audience. And so I have no idea like what made the cut and like what it's going to look like. It's a very vulnerable experience because you're seeing your big stupid face up on the screen, on the big screen, and you're like, why am I doing that with my eyes? But then it's interesting because the first time I watch it, it's like mortifying. But then when I watch it the second time, it's always like, oh, this isn't that bad. Like this is good.
Oh, that's so cool. I'm so excited. Congratulations on that and all your success. It's awesome.
Thank you. Thank you. If my success can continue to grow and get me down on the field for more Bears games, that's all I care about.
Chris, thank you so much for joining me. This has been episode 3 of The Out Route. Now I'm 3 for 3 on guess of people saying yes. So we're going to continue this.
Congrats on the new podcast. I think it's great. I'm excited
Thank
to
you.
listen to the other eps.
And everybody go watch Free Burt.